What are the basic problems of an economy? Why do we have problems in an economy? Let us try and understand this. The very first reason why we have problems in economy is because of our own existence. Yes, we all humans who have got unlimited wants. If you were to be asked today by me, what do you want? You would be able to give me more than one answer. And the best part is, it is not going to be limited to one commodity or one thing in particular. It is going to have multi dimensions and multi layers. So the problem is that we are humans. Secondly, we have wants. And thirdly, these wants are unlimited. Whereas the resources which are to be used to fulfill our wants are limited in nature, right? So if I say that you have got $1,000 today to spend and nobody is going to ask you what you're going to do with that 1,000, then you would be in a situation where you would find it really difficult to think what to do with this money, because it is limited and you want to have multiple wants satisfied. So that is the reason why you have an economic problem. You have unlimited human wants and limited resources. Now these are on one hand, unlimited human wants and limited resources. However, the problem with unlimited human wants is that these human wants, even if they are satisfied, will always reoccur. They are going to repeat. So today, if you want to buy a BMW, tomorrow you might very well want to have a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini. So even if you fulfill one particular want of yours, the human want is bound to reoccur. Whereas for resources, there are always alternatives available. Alternatives in terms of usage. So let us say today you have got some land with you and there would be multiple options that you would be having, whether to make a house on it, whether to make a building, commercial building, or to use it for the purpose of farming. It's completely open to you. And that is what the problem is. Since the resource is limited, you can't do everything in it. And you need to make sure that these limited resources that you have are having alternative usage, and that alternative usage makes it even more difficult for you to decide. These are the four basic problems of an economy: unlimited human wants, limited resources, human wants reoccur, and resources have alternative usage. So that brings us to a very important question. What is the root cause of all economic problems? What is making all these problems exist? The reason is scarcity. What is scarce? Scarcity. Scarcity of resources is the root cause of all economic problems. Imagine a world where you have everything available. Whatever you want, you get. Would there be any economic problem? No, there cannot be any economic problem if you have everything that you want. Therefore, scarcity, it's because of the limited resources and the unlimited wants that you face the problem of scarcity. Moving further, let us now discuss very important concept in the chapter, central problems of an economy. What all are the central problems of an economy? This is very important. The first central problem of the economy is what to produce. Not only what to produce, what commodity to produce, but also in what quantity. what quantity of production should you have? Imagine you are a family of 4 members, and every day when your mother is to cook food for you, she would be knowing the exact quantity of food which is to be cooked. But let us say some guests are to visit you today, then the quantity would multiply. You would then produce in terms of the number of people who are coming. For an economy, what to produce and in what quantity to produce is guided by the principle of price theory. What to produce? Price theory. What quantity to produce? Price theory. What to produce is not just the choice of having a good X made or good Y made. It is also how many units of good X and how many units of good Y at a time. So this is what to produce is. Like, let us say, an economy might have the option of producing either guns or wheat. Let us say today your country is not having any war situation, luckily, then all the resources would automatically shift towards the production of food grain. But if your nation is having a war, then it would need the resources to be used for production of guns. And in what quantity completely depends upon what resources you have. The second central problem of an economy is how to produce. How are you going to produce? What technique of production are you going to use? Primarily, there are two techniques of production here that we are talking about. First technique of production is known as labor intensive technique. Labor intensive technique. Now, what do you mean by labor intensive technique? It means more of labor and less of capital. So let us say if you are to make 100 pieces of shirts, and in a day one tailor makes one shirt, then to make 100 shirts you would need 100 tailors. Now this is labor intensive technology, where everything that you are doing is completely based on the labor force that you have. The other option is capital intensive. Capital intensive. Capital intensive technology would give you an option that if you are to produce 100 shirts, maybe you need to just have 5 machines and each machine will make 20 shirts a day and you just need 5 operators. So this is the difference. In labor intensive technology, you were required to employ 100 people, 100 workers. Over here, you just need 5 operators, 20 shirts made by each machine, and you have 5 machines, and that would be 100 shirts. So these are the two options that you have: labor intensive technology and capital intensive technology. Now the question is whether to choose labor intensive technology or to choose the capital intensive technology, whether to go for labor or to go for capital. Now this depends from what origin of the word you are from. So let us talk about India for that instance. India is a country that has got a lot of unemployment. Therefore, in India, although we would want to upgrade the production, we would want to upgrade the technology, but still we would always want a technology that is more of labor intensive nature, that can absorb people. Whereas countries like USA, developed nations, would want capital intensive technology, as they can afford the technology, they can have more production. The third central problem of an economy is for whom to produce. This is the distribution theory. For whom to produce in the nation? You have limited resources. Resources have alternative usage. Everybody has wants, and everyone's wants are going to reoccur. Therefore, for whom to produce? Distribution theory. Now, this depends on two criteria. One is your functional distribution. Functional distribution. Now, what is functional distribution, class? Functional distribution is what work do you do? What contribution do you make? You might be a doctor and you might be a laborer. Now, both of them work to earn their living. But a doctor earns much more than a laborer. A doctor sits in an AC room, checks his patients all throughout the day. A laborer works out in the hot sun and is not even paid 1/10 of what a doctor makes. What is the difference? Why are we paying more to the doctor, not to the laborer? It's because of their skill set. Although it might look unfair, but this is how it is. You pay doctor much more than what you pay to the laborer. So for whom to produce is also about functional distribution. Who performs what function in the economy? So functional distribution is about what functions do you perform in the economy, and you should be paid accordingly, and that is how functional distribution operates. The other type of distribution that we are talking about over here is the personal distribution. Personal distribution is how does income come to you? You all are a part of a nation that has certain income, and that income is referred as the national income, right? And you all need to understand how is this national income reaching you? How is this going to help you? So your nation's income might be 1,000 crore dollars or whatever, and your national population might just be, let us say, 100 people. Then each one of them on an average would get 10 rupees or $10. But that is not the case. This is not how fair things are in actual life. In reality, personal distribution is again how the income of the nation gets distributed amongst people. So people often get confused between functional distribution and personal distribution, thinking that function is in terms of what work you do and personal is what you get paid for. No, functional is what functionalities or what profession are you into, because that profession will pay you. Whereas personal distribution is a wider concept. It's a concept that tells you how exactly are you getting some money out of your national income. For instance, let us say you are to open up a multiplex. Okay. Now, when you're opening up a multiplex, of course, you are not opening it for the people who can't afford it. You're opening it for the people who can afford it. Therefore, for whom to produce is the question of distribution theory. How would the generated income in the economy get distributed amongst people?